Welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here, and I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. It is gonna be a TVP, but more importantly, a bot versus bot on the map Equilibrium, the AI edition. We've got two workers scouting off early, which is a good sign. And it's going to be none other than the PPV, the PerilousProtossBot, taking on BenBot. BenBotBC. You can't forget that last addendum on its name, as the BC part is very important. BenBot being a good battle cruiser bot. I might have to cast it versus Eris to see how it does after we've just cast a few games of Ketrock taken on Eris with the battle cruiser strategies. And we've got ourselves already a bit of a cheeky bot cheese starting off from BenBot. His proxy rack strategy is very strong. We did have a scout from the PerilousProtossBot. However, the question is whether the bot author is going to put 2 and 2 together. As far as the programming goes on how to deal with this, we do have a zealot already starting, which is a good sign. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead and slap that like button. If we can hit 50 likes on this video, one for each resource lost in this game, aka one dead probe, that would be amazing. Leave a comment down below as well saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot games. I certainly enjoy casting them. And then subscribe if you aren't subscribed, as that is a good way to get notified of these bot videos. We've got one zealot on the way out for the PerilousProtossBot. It's got a forge on the way, but not a cannon timing forge, likely to be that +1 that the PPB tends to get. 2 zealots going to be out, so nothing too much to worry about for the PerilousProtossBot. However, we do have to worry a little bit about the timing on this command center compared to the expand time of the PerilousProtossBot. Some of these Protoss bots, and just some bots in general, delay their expansions a lot, whereas the good bots really do expand quite quickly, it seems. Not saying that the PPB isn't a good bot, but it's certainly setting itself behind here a little bit. Just the fact that it does tend to go for the much later expansions. Obviously the safer strategy, but one with its own downsides. Now BenBot behind this, getting up a factory, still just rocking this contain with the 1 SCV ready to repair this bunker. The PerilousProtossBot doesn't even know this bunker is here yet. It went for that one early scout and then is just chilling back at home. It does tend to go for this static defense approach in order to manage its defense, making it so that the bot author doesn't have to spend too much time programming sort of, I guess, detailed defense. Yeah, so that is a very realistic way to go about programming a bot. Now we have got an SCV scouting around for BenBot, so it is a little bit curious here. Checking potentially for a hidden base, that kind of thing. We've got the fleet beacon on the way for the PerilousProtossBot, so it looks like we may be seeing one base carrier or Tempest, something along those lines. I'm actually excited to see which one it is. I know it tends to go for very early delayed expand or very early Stargate and delayed expands, but I'm not sure I've ever seen it go for a fleet beacon and then potentially into like one base carriers or something like that, which could just be ridiculous here. So we shall see how that's going to work. And I do wonder if that is a result of the scout or not. It's also building a robo as well, so just getting all the tech off of one base. And yeah, let's see. We have got just BenBot building more Marines, getting out a siege tank, turrets, bunker at the front. Nice and defensive, nice and macro-oriented. I am wondering how long it's going to take for the PerilousProtossBot to move out. Now it feels comfortable to expand, so it's moving down with these stalkers. There is, however, a lot of Marines to support this, so I don't know if the PerilousProtossBot is going to be able to break this. Those units get shot. They have no choice but to retreat, and so far that is looking like a very solid solid cheese by BenBot, just delaying the expand when the PerilousProtossBot finally decides to go for one. It is unable to. Zealots getting shot, they can't really do too much. The micro on these Marines is good. Another probe gets shot down. The Stalkers are getting some shots off on the Marines, however. One of those Stalkers perishes. The Tempest is now out, however. So this should be able to potentially get some counter damage done. And it will need to get some damage done to BenBot, as of course there's a big economic deficit to overcome for the PPB, so it's going to need to get some real damage done here. Those Marines did unload from that bunker, so that means that that is just going to go down. We'll see if it gets salvaged. It does indeed get salvaged, and it does complete that, so that's good to see. We've got, however, a tank moving out for BenBot way too far forward. Needs to be playing a more defensive role. And all of a sudden, BenBot doesn't have too many units to its name, so we shall see if there's potentially any counter damage done by the PerilousProtossBot here. If we do keep looking at how this bot is building, though, it just keeps adding more and more tech. It never used its forge for anything, just to build the cannons, I suppose. And now it's getting up a robo, so potentially going to be like Tempest Colossus. We'll see if that's going to be the case or not. We do have a few Stalkers moving out on the map. Now the PerilousProtossBot is getting up that natural base. Its economy will start to improve. It is going to have to contend with battle cruisers sooner rather than later, though, as one of those bad boys is building. Tempest are a pretty darn good counter to the battle cruisers, but it's all going to depend on the micro. We know that BenBot has got very good battle cruiser control. We've also got it saying SCV's stuck. Which SCV got stuck? I suppose that's probably it fixing something to do with SCVs. Nope, that's the stuck boy. Oh, silly SCVs. As always, getting themselves caught. We've got a third base landing for BenBot. We'll see how long it takes for the PerilousProtossBot to secure up its third base. It's making an immortal. Now that's not going to help it deal with these battle cruisers. The 2 Tempest is a really good start, however. And it is interesting to see. I know I've harped on it this game about how the PerilousProtossBot really goes for a slower macro, but it still builds up quite a formidable army. It's not like BenBot is really adjusting its strategy based on the fact that its opponent is playing an incredibly inefficient macro game. But so that's meaning that it's not getting as far behind, and the PerilousProtossBot is a very darn good bot. And it's impressive how well it does just with such economic delays by its own design. Now we've got this ProtossBot moving out. Looks like it's going to be securing up a third base, so it does start to expand again and again. And we'll see when that gets up. We've got 2 batteries on the natural base. Those could be very important to defend against potential battle cruisers down the line. It's currently 3 Tempest to 1 BC. There is, however, lots of Vikings. Third Nexus now going up. Drilling Claws is on the way. This base is now getting turned into a planetary fortress for BenBot. Protoss Shield's on the way up. That third base getting researched, and I'm curious to see which bot's going to come out ahead here. I mean, BenBot definitely has a lead just due to its stronger economy, and it does make quite an impressive mix of units and upgrades, that's for sure, with Widowmines, Ravens, Hellions, Marauders, Marines, everything really on the way for the blue bot. Zealots are scouting out for the PerilousProtossBot. Kills off an SCV there, I believe. We've got a BC trying to chase down the Zealot. We've got Disruptors on the way for the ProtossBot. More Tempests being produced. I think that really is going to be the big question of just how many Tempests the PerilousProtossBot makes. And it definitely does make quite a few Tempests. We've seen in past games, that it actually can start to take better trades against these battle cruiser bots due to just how much better Tempests are against BCs. So we'll see if the PerilousProtossBot gets up a good enough economy to really start pumping out those Tempests. The upgrades are looking pretty good for BenBot. We've also got a 4th base on the way. Its main bottleneck is gas, so we'll see when it gets those refineries going. Potentially going to be a 4th base starting for the PerilousProtossBot. That's going to be important because that means these 2 bots will now be on equal upgrades. Or not equal upgrades, pardon me, equal bases. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I know we had some issues in the past as well about replay darkness. This map seems to be fine, and we actually did report those bugs to the people that manage the SC2 botting community. And so hopefully we won't have any more dark replay casts. So here's to actually reporting bugs if you see them. If you're someone that plays a game, uses a website, and there's a bug, a lot of the time the people that are programming things don't necessarily know there's a bug because they only affect certain users, that kind of thing. So if you're ever having an issue, don't just say, oh, this is crap, why isn't this working? Think, well, maybe they don't even know that this is a bug, and it's just going to be a simple fix. So that is something to keep in mind. And yeah, now we see an observer moving across the map for the PPB. It's getting really close to that turret, gets shot, then runs away. A mothership is on the way for the PerilousProtossBot. The potential cloaking for that could really be a test for BenBot. BenBot is approaching maxed out though, so a fight could potentially be forced before the PerilousProtossBot is ready. It's down 60 supply right now, just about. It's not down that much army supply, so there is still hope there, but as BenBot's now pumping out double battle cruiser, that's going to be a very significant number. Of course, Yamato Cannon is researched, weapon refit. It's making a Phoenix, which isn't really going to help out against battle cruisers. I don't know if you've ever seen a Phoenix try and kill a battle cruiser. The PerilousProtossBot says, of course, you know, this means war. After a fairly passive 11 minutes in these games, in this game, we're now going to see an engagement go down. Yamato cannons get dumped into the Phoenix. I mean, that's better than into more important units like the Tempest, actually. Stalkers and Immortals going on the front. We see those BCs getting forced away. The ground army does get cleaned up, and the PerilousProtossBot throws away a lot of its fodder, but it does deal with this army. Yamato Cannon gonna hit the mothership. The mothership actually the perfect target to absorb a Yamato Cannon, seeing as how that it's got 250 shields. It then actually just straight up recalls, which was cool to see. Gets healed up by that battery, and then is totally A-okay. We've now got carriers on the way for the ProtossBot, and we'll see how much time that bot, the PerilousProtossBot, before there's going to be another fight. I'd really love to see some of that static defense go up at this 5th base, but the PerilousProtossBot doesn't seem to be doing that, just getting the static defense at its natural, at its main, nothing at its expansions yet. And we're actually seeing the PerilousProtossBot move out with a very wrong amount of units here. It's moving out with 2 of its Tempest, and that is not going to be good for the PerilousProtossBot, as I mean, if it's going to take a fight, it needs all of its units here. And it just lost all its ground army to those Marauders, to the battle cruisers. So the PerilousProtossBot sacrificing a big chunk of its army for nothing. So really bad control there. It is unfortunate to see because when it was on the defensive, it did quite all right. So if it's going to take another fight, we better hope it's on the defensive for the PerilousProtossBot's sake. It's going to need all the advantages it can get to overcome this fleet of BenBot. All these Vikings, battle cruisers. The bio on the ground is also lethal. I mean, there's a disruptor, but that's not going to help out too much. We see lots of cannons getting thrown down all over the place in the main base. Not really what we need to see at this point. We see a recall go down before the mothership can be saved, however. Or it's not in time. We see Tempest now being killed off by these Vikings. They're just way too good against those Tempests, and the PerilousProtossBot having a really tough time here. And I think this one may go out with a bit of a whimper instead of a bang. There's a counterattack being planned by the PerilousProtossBot. This could save its bacon for now. I'm just so confused by the fact that it's making Phoenix 14 minutes into the game when Phoenix are definitely not what it needs. We may see a base or some SCVs go down here. The interceptors are targeting down the SCVs, but now the battle cruisers are coming down. This carrier, this Tempest, could be in a lot of trouble. There is a building base here that a disruptor is hugging, and so is a zealot. Yamato Cannon hits those units, but I think they're just going to go down. We see 2 more Tempests being started up, which is good for the PerilousProtossBot, but it's half the supply of its opponent, so I think we are seeing just kind of a wash. And it goes to show how the PerilousProtossBot really should not have attacked there. It almost got a great disruptor shot on those landed Vikings, We see BenBot saying, enough of that, as it's now going for an attack, which is really cool to see. The fact that the bot's got the programming to use that blink. The autocannon deletes that Phoenix. The main is under a lot of threat here for the PerilousProtossBot. A Tempest and the Stalkers will come in, though, and these BCs do not have a teleport to get out, so they are very committed. The Tempests, though, are just being repositioned towards that natural. They really need to get to work on those BCs. There's an attack on the front, though, so the PPB is getting pulled across multiple locations. The Mothership gets recalled once more to try and save itself. Getting into the fight, the batteries are keeping those alive momentarily. We see the PerilousProtossBot trying to hold on, but its economy has been devastated. It's not really mining much at all at this point. And those BCs are safe in the corner. They're not getting picked off, so the PPB not going to be able to win this one, I don't think. And I would like to see the bot author just slightly change its programming so that when it's not maxed out, whereas its opponent clearly is, going for an attack probably isn't the best idea. If it still if it had those extra 2 Tempests to defend, I think PerilousProtossBot could have definitely made a game out of this. Then just the choice to make Phoenix is definitely an interesting one. I know they can kind of help out against Vikings, but in such small numbers against battle cruisers, it doesn't work. And so I think we're just going to fast forward to the end of this one. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I know this one was a little bit less action-packed and more of a wash than all of these games, but these are bot games that are being played out every minute of every day on the SC2 AI ladder. And so it just really makes us appreciate those great games that we have. And not that these bots are not good. There's been a lot of work put into them. But there's definitely always room for improvement. And I don't think any bot author would disagree with that. So we'll have to keep an eye on the PerilousProtossBot. Maybe check out how the other Protoss bots stand up against BenBot's battle cruiser shenanigans. I think casting a BenBot versus Eris game is definitely going to be one of the next videos that I do. And yeah, that is going to be that, I believe. Battle cruisers moving on in. There's not a lot left for the PerilousProtossBot. It's still trying. It's back up to 50 probes. It just does not have an army, unfortunately. PerilousProtossBot trying to rebuild its Stargates. I think it's just got none at this point. BenBot is taking its time to kill its opponent. Battle cruisers kill the Stargate once more, definitely programmed to kill their natural enemy. Stalkers trying to stand against BCs. That doesn't work too well. Static defense being killed. The PerilousProtossBot is trying. Unfortunately, it is not really succeeding. Landed Vikings. Cool to see that's been programmed into the bot to use those. Kills off the last mining base of the PerilousProtossBot. The natural has been breached. And yeah, that is going to be that. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you do want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member or join the, or check out the PayPal link down below. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.